Most of the Americans believe that terrorism is the greatest threat to their life. Though 55% more people in America die just by television set falling on their head or by the coconut falling from the trees and smashing their heads, still most of the Americans believe that terrorism is the single most gravest danger to their life. This is classified as information availability bias. Since news of terrorism are mostly highlighted and sensationalized by popular media, people tend to believe them. They rarely verify and tally the number of deaths caused due to coconut falling against the number of deaths linked to terrorism or terrorist violence. Say if you are into drugs, and I'm sure you are likely to hunt for information that supports your belief that drugs are in some way good for the health. You search on the Google marijuana's health benefit, and I bet you will come across tons of articles that confirm your pre-existing belief. So this is called confirmation bias, by which we selectively process information that reinforces our prior notion about something. Now, a section of our left liberal, ultra-left, ultra-liberal, they nurse an extreme grudge against Yogi Adityanath, a firebrand icon of unapologetic Hinduism. Therefore, though in every 15 minutes, a woman is raped in India, the moment a Hathras happened in the state of Uttar Pradesh, a collective outrage is felt more strongly than over any other rape crime perpetrated elsewhere in India. Even though statistically speaking it's Rajasthan, MP and Maharashtra that are much more ahead of UP in terms of number of incidents of rape per 1 lakh, still, the moment a crime was reported from UP under the administration and jurisdiction of Yogi Adityanath, a mass hysteria was noticed. Now let me give you some statistics, some crucial and vital stats before you get carried away with your emotion and influenced by your own cognitive bias. As far as rape is concerned, it's Rajasthan per 1 lakh women population, 15.9 people are raped in Rajasthan. Kerala comes next, 11.1, Assam 10.5, whereas UP per 1 lakh only the rape rate is 2.8. Assault on women with intent to outrage her modesty, Odisha 50.5 per 1 lakh, Assam 27.7 per 1 lakh, Kerala 24.6 per 1 lakh. Assault on women 354 IPC, Odisha 30.3, Kerala 16.6, Jammu Kashmir 21.6 and UP just 4.3. Assault on women with an intent to disrobe 354 B IPC, Odisha 12.6 and UP only 2. That is the rate, assault on women rate per 1 lakh women population in UP. So this is a classic case of cognitive bias, because we are a victim of confirmation bias and cognitive bias and other selective perception bias. We keep liking, commenting, endorsing articles, particularly those FB posts, social media posts, Twitter posts or newspaper reports that hold Hinduism or Hinduttwa politics directly responsible for such atrocities, and taking advantages of all our implicit bias against Hinduttwa movement when powerful left media manipulate to shape public opinion according to their suitable narrative. A victim suddenly becomes a Dalit, and criminals overnight turns into the representatives of upper caste Rajputs. Interestingly, the same day, another gang rape took place in the state of UP in a place called Balarampur. But since the perpetrators turned out to be from different religious community, it was hushed up. So to score some political brownie points, those from the privileged elites who cry hoarse, Dalit life matters, selectively maintain a deafening silence when there was an attempt to murder a Dalit leader by 3,000 strong lawless rioters in the heart of Bangalore just months ago. Say, if you are a smoker and you love cricket, every time you watch an advertisement that warns you against the harmful side effects of smoking, you are subconsciously tend to ignore and filter out those information about the negative side effects of smoking. However, the moment you get an update on IPL, cricket, your interest suddenly kicked in and you pay more attention to that. Similarly, in the same way, say you hate the ideology of Hinduttwa, but you are a socially sensitive person who care about the poor. But even if you come to know that Yogi Adityanath was the most proactive CM who undertook a massive mass transportation for the migrant laborers from Maharashtra and Rajasthan back to UP, during the time of lockdown by arranging hundreds of buses, still you tend to ignore those information. You chose to filter out those information. However, the second you hear about Dalit atrocity and some negative coverage coming from the UP and Yogi's government, your entire nervous system goes on an overdrive and you crazily hunt for information and news that portrays your most hated chief minister as a monster. You get less inclined to learn about the nitty-gritty of the crime. You are less likely to believe some new emerging facts and evidence that prove the crime in Hathras might not be a rape. It might be an honor killing. This particular strand of cognitive bias is known as a selective perception bias. The postmortem report by the AMU hospital says the Dalit woman was not raped, but we still find the report malified, untrue and false. We can't believe it. However, just 1 week back, remember, AIMS hospital says Sushant Singh Rajput case was a suicide, not a murder, and we jump to grab that report as our prize, as our victory trophy, and we believe that report is bona fide. So this is definitely a classic case of a selective perception bias. Let me tell you, Kerala has a higher number of rape crimes per 1 lakh women population than UP, but we have been trained to look up at Kerala's 100% literacy rate. So our unconscious bias towards Kerala condones all its sins. I'm not a great fan of changing the names of cities and monuments, but a Mughal museum rechristened at Shivaji Museum hogs the limelight from the fact that in Kerala all the medical colleges have been notified to ban the celebration of Holi, citing it as a Hindu RSS festival. Imagine, Holi, the celebration of Holi is banned across all the medical college in Kerala because it's a RSS sponsored celebration. Outrageous. How Holi could be a Hindu specific celebration, and even if it is so, how can you ban it in a secular country? This is a perfect example how selective perception bias works. It's based in all such cases. Thank you and Jai Hind. Alarming trend and quite a disturbing phenomena that BBC, New York Times and CNN, while doing a coverage on Hatras rape incidents, they described the perpetrators as upper caste. While reporting on Balarampur rape incidents, they were very careful to avoid any mention of the identity of the perpetrators. This polarization, this prejudice is really worrying, and Indians should understand, they should realize this Hindu-phobic larger design, larger plan of this left-leaning international medias. If you like this video, please keep watching, sharing, commenting more and more. Thank you and Jai Hind.